Talk. I'm Kia.
I'm Andrea.
And I'm Cheré.
How are you all today? Isn't this a great day, you all?
It is.
We had a great time, you all, watching Nappily Ever After.
Yes.
And we wanted to talk about it with you all today and to get your thoughts. Okay, so if you have not seen the movie, we tell you now, this is going to be a spoiler. This will be a fun discussion because we're going to talk about it today, y'all. We're going to talk about what we think about it, how we feel about it. And you guys, before we get into the discussion, you all please look at that subscribe button.
Yes, please.
Hit the subscribe button, join the family, hit the bell so that you get reminders about our shows, and come on and join Grown Women Talk
And
family.
comment, please.
Yes,
you know, it's
yes.
hard sometimes to comment on YouTube. Thank you for those of you who do. But if you can't, please comment on our Facebook page,
yes.
Instagram.
and our Instagram page. Thanks
All
so
right.
much.
Okay, so Cheré, who thoughtfully put together some wonderful, thought-provoking questions for us today.
He's amazing.
Yes. Give us one of our questions today.
All right, subscribers, this was a breath of fresh air for me, just to see a film about us, played
us.
Yeah.
by us, directed, produced
Yes.
by women of color. This was just fantastic, and I know we watched it 2 and 3 times.
Yes, yes,
I mean,
yes.
and you all will probably do too. So go to Netflix and see it as often as you want to. The first question I thought about was, what surprised you all most in the film? You all think too, and let us know.
I think, let me say this. I think what surprised me most, I think, is that I did think that I was not going to appreciate the movie as much because when I saw the title and I was like, you know, it's a whole natural thing. Now let me let you all know, I am a natural girl, okay? But I will put on a piece of hair quick. And I don't want nobody talking about my piece of hair. I don't want nobody talking about my piece of hair, my Brazilian hair, my Indian hair, my, what's the other kind, Peruvian hair. I love all of them. We're friends, okay? So, you know, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this movie because they're going to go the whole, you know, there are different stages of natural. Some people wear their hair natural all the way down. Some people wear their hair natural and put the blow dryer through it and flat iron. Some people would do the twist outs. So I didn't know where it was going to go. But after I watched it, just the whole movie really was precious. And it wasn't something to say you can't do those things. It was just saying embrace the natural in you too. You know what I mean? And have America embrace the natural beauty of black women.
No, I agree. I loved it. So there are many surprises for me, many surprises. But I think again, they did not judge anybody who did not have natural hair, but it's charming.
It was charming.
Yeah.
That's the right word.
It was charming.
You know, I was surprised that the main character actually cut her hair. And in watching some of the interviews that Sanaa Lathan talked about actually deciding whether or not to cut her hair. And, you know, first she said, oh, we're just going to use a bald cap. It's no problem, you know, but she became a part of the character, really, and decided that it would just be authentic for her to cut her hair. So to sit there and watch her actually cut her hair was powerful, and all of the emotions, you know, the joy, the anger, the fear, you know, all of that going through that with her surprised me, but it was a pleasant surprise.
And I really think that it may have inspired some other people to do that too, because if people have seen Tamar Braxton has shaved her head, other people have done it, and I don't know what motivated her to do so, but I remember when Sanaa months and months ago was promoting this and showed a picture of herself on social media with her shaved head, and everybody just came out and said how beautiful she looked, and she really did.
She was breathtaking.
You know? And maybe we'll try to even put the link of that interview that we saw in our description box, because it really was powerful to see how it was a real big thing for her to make the decision to do that, and I thought that made it so authentic.
It did.
For us, the viewer.
It made the movie.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, our second question. Have you ever been influenced by European standards of beauty? And if so, how? Ooh. You all please write us a comment if you have been influenced.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so when I was a little girl, right? I will never forget this Christmas. I asked for, this is going to date me, but remember those big heads where they had all the hair? They had the, yeah, okay. So I asked for the big head, right? So my father bought me the candy doll. The candy doll, because I just wanted, and my mother wanted to make sure that I had the black one, which was called Christy. Okay, so she went out and got me the Christy doll. But I remember, I was like, I asked for candy, you know. I like Christy too and all, but you know, then I'm my baby dad. So it's so interesting with commercials. We saw the commercials. I thought it was candy, and I think that over time and over the years, what we see in the magazines and so forth, and you know, even with, and I don't know if it's traditional European beauty that has influenced me, but I do have certain things that I like. So for example, when I've gone to the hairdresser and I've gotten a weave in a hairdresser that was also a barbershop, which I really hated because the guys would see what we were doing. But I remember there was a guy that said to me, he said, "You have a head full of hair. Why are you getting a weave?" I said, "Because I want more." So, you know what I mean? I just wanted more. So, I mean, it's just something that I like, and I don't know, it may be the influence of what we see, what we think, or even the way we get reactions from people, reactions from men.
Which was in the movie.
In the movie,
that's right.
when she was wearing that hair, and they were like, and she was like, yes. And the way, you know, what they see as beauty impacts what we feel as beauty. So and I think that is changing today with the natural movement. Revolution.
Yeah, that's right. Revolution.
And I think that it's changing how other people perceive beauty. And so our men, it's important for our men, y'all, to show us that you appreciate our beauty. Because then it is, well, let me not say that, because we do have to know it for ourselves.
That's right.
We have to know it for ourselves. And I think that was a big part of the movie. But let me not jump ahead. So go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you made mention of European influences, and when I was younger I had longer hair, and for a long time I didn't get a perm, but I've straddled the fence, and I think it's because I'm chocolate. I'm like, that looks okay. And I think, but there have been some good influences, but I think, I've been chocolate and a little bit radical. And so I think, and back in the day, I have to tell you this really quickly, and I think some of mine came from, my parents used to make me sing this song by James Brown. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. This is a true story. Wow. And my aunt really believes to this day that shaped me. And so I'm like, you don't see me, then I don't want to see it. So so I think it is what you see. Like you made mention about the doll. You're like, yeah, I can get down with you, but this is the one I wanted.
Yeah, but mommy taught me, and so I think what our parents do is important, because she was like, no, you're going to get this black doll, and you're going to appreciate who we are. As I was born in the Black is Beautiful movement, you know what I mean? And so mom wasn't playing that. So I think you're right about that.
Absolutely. So the way European standards influenced me most was size and shape. All the models and
my God.
people on television were of a certain size. And you did not see any plus size models anywhere, particularly in the 70s and 80s, even 90s. I mean, even now there are more stores. There's more inclusion about different shapes, sizes, colors, textures of hair. But growing up, we lacked that. So many times I felt like I wasn't the right shape or size. Wow. I wasn't beautiful. That's powerful. But it did, our parents had a lot to do with that. We'll talk about that a little later. Of how they helped me know that I was beautiful at any size.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So the third question, which love story, which love story was the most intriguing? The one between Violet and the doctor, Violet and the hairstylist, or Violet and herself, and why?
Oh, I have. Please. So I think it's funny. I think Violet and the hairstylist, and Violet and herself, and this, I don't know if this is a love story, and you didn't reference this, but Violet and the daughter.
Because how beautiful is that?
It was. She was able to live to some degree vicariously through her, but more importantly, she appreciated how she was helping to shape a positive image
Yes.
of this little girl. So you have to. It's so many amazing things.
Absolutely.
But I think Violet, the hairstylist, but also Violet herself, because her journey changed.
Yes.
And she began to find herself.
Yeah.
And this is the only other thing I'll say, and I'll let you ladies weigh in.
Because I gotta jump in.
I should let you jump in. But when the hairstylist, when he took her to this, wherever they went, to like Arboretum or something.
Yes.
And he gave her a natural oil for her
hair.
Honey. And he rubbed it on her hair.
It was very
sensual.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
It was.
And I mean, it was, oh my God. It really put her in touch with what she had been missing.
That almost made me want to cut my hair.
Girl.
Listen.
Look, it almost made me want to get some oil for my husband and rub my hair.
Y'all guys see me ever seen
it.
I want to say that all that is so true. But let me say this. I felt a little robbed for the doctor. I did. I felt a little robbed for him because she never was her authentic self with him. She was who she thought she was supposed to be for him. But there was a scene in the movie when he caught her being free, dancing and having a wonderful time with the music. And he loved that. And he was like, wait a minute, is that who you are? And they had another moment and some time after that. But I think that maybe if they even had more time for her to be who she really was and him to embrace that maybe that would have been different. Because I do want to say, I did read in some articles that talked about for black women, and is it only the natural man that can accept the natural woman, or the man who works with the natural products and all that and so forth. But I think that it should be that our natural and wonderful beauty is embraced by all. And her finding herself and who she was, I think that she might have even had a different, richer relationship with the doctor at a different point in time.
Maybe. But it would require him to, because if you remember at the end, he even asked her, said, what are you going to do with your hair tonight? He did. And I thought that was not fair. I was a little mad at him for that. I went back and forth, and I understand.
But how many times have and I did think about that. But I think about how many times have our mates or our significant others asked us to wear our hair a certain way for a certain occasion, or wear a certain dress, or look a certain way. And I think I'm being slightly controversial in this, but was he all the way wrong with that? I'm not so sure about that in my own personal opinion. I remember when I wanted to cut my hair, and my husband was like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And but they do have different opinions about certain things. And I cut my hair anyway. You know what I mean? And he loved it. But
she's a little sad surprised. I cut my hair anyway.
I did. But anyway, I think that all of those things are thought provoking. This movie was so thought provoking. What about for you?
Absolutely. Goodness gracious, I got so caught up in their discussion, I forgot to think of my own answer. And this question kind of goes into number 4 too, about what theme did I most enjoy, and I think I'll just tie it in. The 4th question is, which theme did you most enjoy? And Best Friend talked a little bit about the themes with our main character Violet and the hairdresser's daughter and the relationships, and I threw out some others, the mother-daughter theme, the father-daughter theme. And even though we didn't see the father as much, it was important when we did see him. How she laid on him and said, "Daddy, I need you. What's going on? You see me going crazy." And he was like, "Violet, you've been working up to this for quite a while. I don't think this was a rash decision. This was something you knew inside you needed to do for a long time." And he was reassuring and confirming for her. So fathers are so important. But the biggest thing for me was the self-love. And particularly in my work, helping people through illness, usually emotional illness, the first thing, the foundation towards wholeness is loving and knowing yourself. And so just to see her discover herself,
I love self-discovery.
It just brought so much joy to the camera and to my heart and soul. And if we could take the time to even do some introspection, to know who we are even now, because we're always evolving, always growing, always learning new information. So this was a great film for me.
I love the sisterhood piece too, that we haven't touched on, because she had some great friends.
She really did.
She had some great friends, some ride or dies with her.
She really did.
And no matter what she was going through, they really tried to embrace her with it. You know what I mean? She got that blonde hair. They were like, okay, if that's how you feel today, you gotta own that then.
Right.
You gotta own that. And when she shaved her head, they told her she was beautiful. You know, and so I think that it is important of who we surround ourselves with.
Oh my God.
If we surround ourselves with authentic sisters who love us and who we love, you know what I mean?
That's right.
And so I think that was just so important, because as she was finding her whole self-discovery in this, she had some good sister friends
She really
there
did.
with her. And
She
I think
really
that's
did.
critically important.
She really did. I'm glad you raised that too. And here's the other thing. It doesn't mean good sister friends are always going to agree with us.
Right.
It means sometimes they say, no, you should push back. Or
Yes.
they push back on you.
Yes.
And so I think I've said it 1,000 times throughout, but this self-discovery, the sisterhood thing was critical to me. And they were all different. You know, one girl had natural hair, one was Caucasian or Asian or something, but they were all different. But nobody was afraid to sort of, you know, let her be,
Yes.
let her discover.
That's right.
Yes.
And I think that was so critical. But it was,
Yes.
It was so beautiful. And you know what? The thought came to me, depending on your position in life, you may need to change your friends.
Come on.
You may need to change
Come on.
the folks around you.
Come on.
That
that
means
is so powerful.
don't love the first set, or
That's
the
right,
set in
that's
high
right,
school,
that's
or the
right.
set in elementary school. But if you're trying to
so
build a business, you might need to be around some other folks that are doing it, have done it,
That's good.
got
That
your
is
back,
so
and
good. That
encourage
is so
you.
good.
You know, you don't want to sit. They say birds of a feather flock together.
That's
Yes.
what they said. Oh no.
Go ahead.
Good. I was gonna say two quick things. Golly day, and because you messed me up. Now.
Let me jump in. You think when you was look, but I do want to say this though. And I don't want to forget, one of my favorite parts of the movie was at the end when the men stopped to look at her with her natural hair.
Yeah.
When at first, when she was just walking like this after she first cut, she had the scarf on, nobody was turning into her. So it showed me, after you love yourself and find yourself, and you have self-discovery, no matter what size you are, no matter what your hair looks like, no matter what color you are, no matter what, as long as you own that thing and you love it, and you know that you bad, other people gonna think you bad too. I love it.
But you know what?
I love it.
That's part of what I was gonna say. You remember when she went to that group, the support group, and one of the things they talked about said, "It's the hair is fine. It's you gotta own your space."
Yes.
And once she started to own it, she was killing it.
Yes.
And so it brought out her natural assets, but then the other ones that she began to create for herself.
Yes.
It's like, no, this is my space. You in my space.
I love it.
And I think you're absolutely right. When we do that, we really become unstoppable, and our sphere of influence increases.
Absolutely.
When you learn how to do you in a good way.
Yes. That's what this is all about. We live in our best lives.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
Last question, final question. How can we positively influence the next generation and encourage girls and young women to love themselves?
I had lunch with my niece yesterday, and she is amazing, and I'm watching her become this woman and not be afraid. And I said to her, I said, I see you changing. And she said, I'm watching you.
Wow.
I'm watching you.
Now, that's powerful. Yeah, that's powerful.
How many are watching us?
How many are watching us? And I was saying to somebody the other day after I saw this movie, how I never really thought about how much of a influence my mother was in this department. But she would shave her hair off all the way down. She would go from cutting her hair at the barber like that, and 6 months later, get her some braids. Then she might get her a weave. Then the next year she shaved her hair again. And all those styles loved it. And all those styles put her stamp on it. In fact, on her funeral program, one picture had the natural and one had some braids. Because that's just who she was. But in all of that, she was beautiful. And I think that I took, and I have to share that with my girls and with our young girls that we are with. That no matter what you choose to do, no matter how you want that look to be, again, as long as you love you and as long as you know that you are beautiful, it will radiate. Absolutely. It will radiate. Absolutely. We have to tell them that however they are beautiful.
Absolutely. And we can take that from home to the streets, to our friends' homes, to work. Give a positive a thought or notion or word when you see someone. Hello, you look wonderful. You feel good. You look great. Yes. How are you today? Good to see you. I mean, to our sister friends, encouraging them in a more personal way. But let's lift people up.
Absolutely. Yeah. And here's the other thing. I think we have a responsibility to teach people to walk in their truth. Mm-hmm. And for us to do that as well. Yes. So I think, that's just so good. I'm going to watch it again tonight.
Oh, let's watch it again. And I do thank the people who put out Nappily Ever After. It's on Netflix if you haven't seen it. For the it was at first a book, so you can go to your library and read Nappily Ever After also. But it was a great piece to watch. We hope that you enjoy it and that you get something from it as well, and help it in your own journey that you are on at this time. And so it just reminds us all about just the pieces that we push forward, sisterhood, love, all that kind of thing. And so we come to our theme, y'all, as we like to say, get ready,
reset,
and go.
Bye.
Bye, friends.